One of the questions that I get asked more than almost any other is this: Tomlin, I just feel completely lost when it comes to jamming. And usually it's followed by something like, I don't know when to play, I don't know what to play, or whether I'm doing it right. Most of my students who ask this are older, usually 50 plus, and whether they are complete beginners or more experienced, they all feel like jamming is a big, mysterious thing that either you can do or you can't. And there's often a deeper worry underneath it. Am I just too late to start doing this? Is this going to take years? Have I missed the boat? Now, here's the good news. Feeling lost about jamming has nothing to do with age, talent, or musical intelligence. It usually just means nobody has ever explained jamming to you in a clear, structured way. Jamming isn't a magical skill. It's not something you're born with. It's a set of very learnable habits. My biggest goal with my students is to get them comfortable jamming because it is the most fun thing that you can do with music. Plus, it is so much more than just about the music. It's about listening to other people. It's about reacting in the moment. For a lot of my students, jamming becomes a reason to leave the house, a way to connect with other people, and a chance to keep learning something genuinely new. And there's growing evidence that learning skills like this, listening, responding, improvising, is one of the best things you can do to keep your brain active as you get older. So, in this video, I'm not going to throw a load of licks at you. I'm going to show you what jamming actually is, why it feels confusing, and how to start making sense of it step by step. My goal is that by the end of this, jamming feels less scary, less mysterious, and much more achievable, no matter where you're starting from. And we're going to start with the most important part of all, not playing, listening. We don't jump straight into playing. First, we listen. No one is expecting you to just play perfect music without knowing what's coming. So your first step is pause, breathe, relax your shoulders, think, and then remember to have fun. And now you have 3 questions to ask. What key are we in? What harmonica should I be playing? And what is the structure of the tune? If you can get roughly oriented with those 3 things, you're already jamming. This is not about being perfect, it's about knowing where you are. So, how do we work out the key? Well, the first step is just simply to ask. Ask the band leader, the guitarist, the bassist, the piano player what key we're playing in, and they'll usually be able to tell you this. It'll save you a lot of time and a lot of trial and error. If you can't ask someone, or you didn't hear what they said, because they mumble, then you can also try to work it out by ear. And I highly recommend that everyone practices doing this anyway because it's good for your ear and will make you a better musician overall. Okay, so the way that we work out the key of a song by ear, this is very quick and dirty. This is the way that I do it. I lay out a bunch of harmonicas in front of me. I'm going to use 3 for now, but normally I'd have a whole bunch of different keys. We're going to assume that because it's blues music, we're playing in second position. It's not always the case, but this is just to get you started. Playing in second position, so our root note is going to be a 2 draw. And with that in mind, I'm going to listen to the music and then try playing the 2 draw on each of my harmonicas until I hear one that I think sounds like it's the right harmonica. So let's try that. So this is Blues with a Feeling by the James Montgomery Blues Band. Okay, so I'll play the 2 draw on my C harmonica. Sounds pretty good. Let's try some others just to hear the difference. D harmonica. Doesn't sound great. Let's try an A harmonica. That doesn't sound great. So let's go back to that C and try that again. Sounds pretty good. I'm just going to try the blues scale to hear how it sounds. Okay, so I think we have a winner. It was the C harmonica in second position, played in the key of G. Choosing the harmonica is really important. Once you have a rough sense of the key, choosing the harmonica is actually very simple. In most blues jam situations, you are playing in second position. And that means that if the song is in the key of G, you're going to grab your C harmonica. If the song is in the key of A, you grab a D harmonica. If the song is in E, you grab an A harmonica. There are lots of great tools, printouts, etc. to help you work out the key of the harmonica you need, but I'm going to give you a very quick and dirty method. Count up 4 letters from the key of the music to find the key of the harmonica, remembering that the letters in the music go from A to G and then repeat. So if the song is in the key of G, we go G, A, B, C. We get a C harmonica. If it's in the key of E, we go E, F, G, A. We get an A harmonica. This works for most keys, but you'll need to remember that the key of F needs a B flat harmonica. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you my harmonica case, and I'm going to talk you through what keys I would take to a jam session. So you only really need 6 keys. 6 keys will do most of what you need. So let's go through this. So we'll open up the case, see it is empty, we're going to load in. So first key that you need is a G harmonica. So that means that you can play in the key of D in second position, works fantastic. Next key is going to be an A harmonica. Guitarists love this because it means that you can play in the key of E. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about this in a second. Okay, next key I suggest taking with you is a B flat harmonica. Seems a little bit weird, but it means you can play in the key of F, and a lot of people love to play in the key of F at a blues jam, so it's a good one to have on hand. Now, next, really important, key of C. I like to play in the key of C because we play a lot of blues in G. It's a very common one. Because we play so much, I'm going to take 2 C's with me. So got 2 C's here. And the next key that I suggest taking is a key of D. Very handy for playing in the key of A in second position with the band. Next, an unpopular one, but I love this, key of F. Going to let you play in the key of C with the band. Now, you might be thinking, what am I going to put into this slot here? This is a personal preference thing, but I love taking an A flat because some guitarists love to downtune their guitars a semitone. So everything that normal guitarists were playing in the key of E, they'd be playing an E flat. So it is a handy one to have. Finally, pack up my 12-hole chromatic in the key of C because it's nice to have one of those handy. Put that in there, and that is it. Those are the 6 keys plus bonuses that you need for a jam session. Just a quick thank you to Pine Grove who sent me this case. I love it. I've had their cases for years. I use loads of different sizes, but this is a really handy one for jam sessions. If you want to find out more about them, just click on the link in the description below. Listening for the structure is the next thing that you need to do. Here is some very reassuring news. Most blues jam situations are based around the 12-bar blues, and that means that the music moves in a nice familiar loop. Let's have a listen to a 12-bar blues. Okay, so I'm just going to count through this William Clark tune early in the morning and tell you the chord changes and just count out the beats as it's happening. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4 chord, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the 1 chord, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 chord, 2, 3, 4, 4 chord, 2, 3, 4, 1 chord, 2, 3, 4, turn around, 1 chord. Just a 12-bar blues with a turnaround. It's a little bit upbeat. If you found that too fast, try it with a slower track to start with. But yeah, that's just counting through a 12-bar blues. Don't be thrown by variations in the structure. There may or may not be a turnaround. You might have a quick change. There might even be some other jazzy shenanigans, and that's all okay. The most important thing is that you understand the overall conversational topic. If you don't understand 1 or 2 words, you'll still be able to follow what is going on. Now then, I highly recommend that you practice doing this with your favorite blues tunes at home so that you get used to hearing the structure and knowing your place in it. We are now going to look at playing. Now that you've listened and roughly worked out where you are, we can finally talk about playing. And this is where I want to take a huge amount of pressure off you straight away, because you don't need to play a lot to be jamming. You don't need lots of licks. You don't need fast runs. You don't need to sound impressive. In fact, most of the time, the best thing you can do is play very little. So we're going to start with level 1. 1 note is enough. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this. The 2 draw always works in second position. That single note already fits the music because it's the root note. If you can come in on time, play that note cleanly, and stop at the right moment, you are contributing to the music. That is jamming. At this stage, your main job is not notes, it is timing. You're listening to the pulse, you are feeling the groove, you are placing your notes so that they sit comfortably with the band. Long notes are your friend here. Simple rhythms are also your friend. And if you ever feel lost, fewer notes will almost always make things sound better, not worse. All right, level 2 is using the root notes. Once you're comfortable sitting on that one note, that 2 draw, you can go forward and start using root notes of the chords that are being played in the 12-bar blues. That's the 2 draw over the 1 chord, the 4 blow over the 4 chord, and the 4 draw over the 5 chord. As the chords change, you can move to notes that relate to those changes. You're not trying to outline every chord perfectly. You are simply acknowledging that something has changed. Playing along with real music. So that is something that you can and should practice at home. Put on real songs and do just this. Sit on one note, focus on staying in time, leave space, stop playing before you feel you need to. This is much harder than it sounds, and it is one of the most valuable skills that you can develop. Useful beats impressive. This is an important mindset shift. At a jam, useful always beats impressive. Someone who plays a few well-placed notes in time with confidence will always sound better than someone throwing lots of ideas at the music without listening. If you aim to be useful, you will be welcomed back. And that is how jam confidence actually grows. So now you're jamming, let's have a quick word from our sponsor, Tomlin Harmonica School. That is the online harmonica school that I run for players who want clear structure, friendly guidance, and practical ways to actually use what they're learning. Inside the school, we work on exactly the skills that we're talking about in this video. Listening, playing simply, understanding where you are in the music, and gradually building confidence in real musical situations. One of the big things we focus on is jamming, not just learning licks in isolation, but learning how to play along with real music and real people. We also host regular online jam sessions inside the school. And that means that you can practice jamming in a supportive, low-pressure environment, even if you don't have access to in-person jams where you live. If you want to find out more, there is a link below this video. Let's get back to it. It is very likely that there will be a singer with you at the jam, and it is really important to understand how to play under a singer, because when someone is singing, the rules change. Your job is no longer to add ideas, your job is only to support the singer. If someone is singing, they are the main voice. Everything you play should make it easier for them to sing, not harder. And if you are ever unsure what to play, the safest option is always to play less. Silence is a valid choice. What usually goes wrong is that the harmonica player plays over the singer and gets in the way. They might have had good intentions about duetting with the singer, but the most important thing to remember is that the singer is the most important person in the band. So what works instead? When someone is singing, think low, simple, and spacious. Low notes sit underneath the voice instead of fighting with it. Simple rhythms help the groove instead of distracting from it. And space gives the singer room to phrase naturally. Long notes work very well here. Gentle rhythmic ideas work very well here. I suggest using the root notes that we looked at before, but down an octave. So the 2 draw for the 1 chord, 1 blow for the 4 chord, and the 1 draw for the 5 chord. Listening for breathing space is a really important skill to develop. That space where you can quietly respond. 1 or 2 notes is usually plenty. If you miss it, don't do anything. There will always be another space for you.
Roll me, babe, like you roll your wagon wheel down in the country. Roll me, babe, like you roll your wagon wheel. Lord, you just don't know how good, baby. Just how good you make me feel. Help me!
All right, next, simple chords can work beautifully under a singer, especially at lower volumes. They help fill out the sound without pulling attention away from the vocal. Use the 1, 2, 3 draw over the 1 chord and the 1, 2, 3 blow over the 4 chord. And remember that you are in control of your volume, and quieter is better here.
Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. Got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. I got a hard woman, get your mind going.
All right, this is something that you can and you should practice at home on your own. Put on a song with a strong vocal and do this. Play only during the gaps, use low notes, stop as soon as the singing starts again, and that will teach you restraint, timing, and awareness, all of which are essential jam skills. And if that feels difficult, that's normal. Playing under a singer is a skill. It takes awareness, patience, and experience. But once you get comfortable with it, jamming becomes much more relaxed and enjoyable. Now it's time to learn how to play around the singer. This is where jamming starts to feel more conversational. You're no longer supporting continuously, you are responding. So what does playing around the singer actually mean? Well, it doesn't mean playing all the time. It means listening carefully and choosing your moments. The singer says something, you reply. Then you get out of the way again. That is what people mean when they talk about call and response. The most important skill here is learning to hear the spaces in the vocal. Most vocal lines leave small gaps at the end of phrases, and those gaps are invitations. That's where you can step in briefly and say something. If you miss the gap, do nothing. If you feel unsure, do nothing. There will always be another opportunity. Keeping your responses simple. Your responses should usually be short and simple. One idea, one shape, one rhythm. This is not the time to show everything you know. If you can say something clearly in 1 or 2 notes, that's perfect. Repeating a simple idea over several vocal lines often sounds much more musical than constantly changing what you play. A good way to think about call and response is like a conversation. You wouldn't interrupt someone halfway through a sentence. You wait until they finish, and then you reply. The same applies here. Let the singer finish the line, respond briefly, then leave space again.
Take a look at yourself before you accuse me. Take a look at yourself. Say I'm spending my money on other women. You taking money from someone else.
All right, you can practice this at home very effectively on your own. Put on a song with a clear vocal and do this. Do not play during the vocal lines. Play a short response at the end of each line. Keep using the same idea for a while, and that will build confidence, patience, and musical awareness. And once you're comfortable playing under a singer and around a singer, the band begins to trust you. And that's usually when you get the nod. The nod is the invitation to take a solo, and that's what we're going to look at next. So this is where a lot of people panic because they treat a solo like a test. It's not about showing everything you know. It's not about playing fast. It's not about being clever. A solo is simply you taking a turn to speak. And just like a conversation, it works best when it is clear and focused. The biggest mistake that people make when they get the nod is starting with too much. Instead, start with something very simple. Use a lick you already know. Use one shape. Use a small idea. If you can play something clearly and confidently at the start, everything else just falls into place. Think of your solo as a story. You introduce an idea, you repeat it, and you maybe develop it slightly. You don't need lots of new material. Repeating an idea with small changes sounds musical and intentional. Random notes sound nervous. So try to stay connected to the music while you're soloing. You're still listening. You're listening to the groove, you're listening to the structure, and you are listening to where you are in the form. And if you ever feel lost during a solo, just go back to playing something simple. One note, one rhythm, that 2-draw will always bring you back into the music. And you're probably only going to be given 12 or maybe 24 bars to solo. So you don't get a lot of time. So instead of saying everything that you can, try to say one thing really clearly. Alright, so this is just the start of learning how to jam. And at the beginning, it's totally okay to start simply, and I still use a lot of these ideas on a regular basis when I play with other people. So don't feel like they're too beginnery. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Jamming is not a mystery skill. It's not something you're born with, and it's not something that you are too old to learn. Jamming is about listening, responding, and playing less than you think you need to. Start simple, stay useful, leave space, and if you do that, you're not just going to survive the jams, you're going to enjoy them. And that's really the whole point. All right, thank you so much. Happy harping.